going on, everybody? This is Mike Baker. I got my man here, Mike Bennett, with me, and this is the Apple Advisory. Today we're going to be talking about how Apple canceled The Banker, a film that was supposed to premiere in 2-3 weeks for real. Apple partnering with 100 cameras to teach Chicago students photography with the iPhone. Okay. I want to see them give out these iPhones. Hopefully I don't lose them. And then Apple preparing to build the next generation of media apps for Windows. Windows is that topic, man. I guess Windows is that deal nowadays, for real.
That's what it is.
But yeah, let's talk about Apple here. For the first topic is that Apple did go ahead and cancel the release of The Banker. The Banker was a film that was supposed to come out on, December 6th? Like I said, December 6th is December 9th. I think it was the 6th. But it was a film about two African-American bankers who started a banking company, but in order to be able to get through some of the regulations and the paperwork that is needed in order to open a bank, dealing with like federal fundings and
dealing with the feds,
dealing with the Federal Reserve, essentially, because you basically gotta be partnered up with the government if you're going to be dealing with money. But opening up banks and opening up their first banks and how they actually had to use the resources of a white guy in order to sign some of this paperwork, to get some of this paperwork done, to get through the red tape in order to get these financial capabilities. And the main thing that they were doing with it was giving out loans to other African Americans so that they could start businesses and pay their own loans and whatever debts off and whatever things that they need to be able to do with banking, because banking wasn't a thing that was affordable or even applicable, anything that you could get as an African American. You sort of just had to put your money wherever you could put it. You know what I mean? And
store it under your mattress, man.
Yeah, and that's this movie was supposed to be a movie talking about two African Americans. It's based on a true story that actually succeeded in doing and starting this for them, for us, essentially. But this has been pulled from being released. It was supposed to come out on the Apple TV, which is a new service that Apple just started. Apple has a machine that they call the Apple TV, and then
machinery.
they got a little box, a little streaming device that they call the Apple TV. But then they also have a streaming service now that they're calling Apple TV as well, because Apple is just trying to be simple about it. They don't want to confuse people with too many names. But essentially, like they have it so that you can get all these other television services like HBO, Showtime, and Stars, and all of that. Some of the channels, FX, all these movie channels, but they also have their own premium content that they're coming out with, which is the most important part, because that means that they're essentially trying to play in the movie production, show production game.
Put their hands in all these different baskets, man. It's just much money to grab on the table. They try and get it.
Yeah. I mean, essentially anything to get the people to want to be like long-term subscribers for services. They already have Apple Arcade. They already have iTunes, or what do they call it? Just Apple Music for the streaming.
Apple Music,
So they already have these services. So they're the next service. Obviously, you got books, you got music, you got news. The next service is television. So they basically are implementing this now as the next service, and I got them doing in like the next couple years or so, bundling this all up into one package where you can get all four of those things under one premium package. But
they're going to turn into Comcast pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are basically going to go that route for in some form or another, because essentially it's all data. It all can come from the internet anyway. So let it come from the people that can provide services on the internet. But this movie in particular had a big issue because, it's the type of movie that it is. It is a historic Black movie. It is a movie about dealing with racial issues in American society. This is a movie that a lot of people definitely was gonna watch when it came out. Whether it came, like, when I saw the trailer for it originally, I didn't know it was coming out on Apple TV. I just saw the trailer.
Man, I ain't even beat game. I ain't even see it till I came across the article. But
yeah. I knew it was coming out. Like, I think I saw this like maybe 2 months ago, around the same time that what's that movie that show that Forrest Whitaker is in? He like Bumpy Johnson or something like that.
What is it called, man?
As a matter of fact, I might tonight. This is something about her. But like, I seen this come out, and I knew I was going to see it, but when I found out it was on Apple TV, I was like, I don't know, because I
try to pull a fast one.
I ain't Apple TV unless it come with the fact that I already just have an iPhone. Like, they give you one free thing to watch. This gonna be it.
So you want to subscribe, cancel your subscription right after.
Or this would have been it, but they never released it yet. They're not releasing it yet. They said that they haven't said that they like not releasing it at all. They just said that the premiere that it was supposed to come out is not going to be that premiere date anymore. So like December 6th, when it was supposed to be released, it's not coming out. There's a lot of speculation about why. The only thing that they've heard so far was just like from one like media update that was just saying that it was dealing with like the main character, the guy who Anthony Mackie plays, Bernard Garrett. He's like the lead that actually opens up this bank. His family had a couple of issues with some of the historic references, like the truth or whatnot about the story. I'm assuming they presented it to him before they actually released it, and they put it on immediate halt. So,
man, look, I'm gonna say this. I hear you, Mike. I really do. I'm gonna try to be as clean with this as possible, man. But like, first of all, I want to say, what a wonderful fucking job getting these two great actors, man, Anthony Mackie and Sam L, the legend, partnering up, man, for what I think would be probably a cult classic, right? If it was to be released, you know what I mean? Certain black movies, like they ain't really like in the Hall of Fame of all movies, right? But they hold a certain place in our heart as But I like, I'm looking at, yeah, for sure. But like when I hear like,
we saw there's a lot.
But I feel like, looking at this the nature of how this thing go, right? If you're talking about in the 60s, man, where racism was like, we coming out, we in the civil rights movement and stuff like that, things, racial prejudice, animus is all over the place. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's all, politicians just, outright being this everything. So to show that, like, I guess a level of intelligence and I would say this this for two black men to boss up in this way, like they pretty much pimped the system, got the right connects, got a white guy to basically front everything, what I mean, for them to be able to create like a powerhouse like this, to have their own bank, to put that out to the folks. It's almost like, it seems like, somebody behind the scenes is like, all right, man, we may have to reconsider. I mean, we in these times, and because some people, they'll take something like this, and I'll be honest, some people, they go to maybe to like an extreme. You have your extremists out there that feel like it's just all black everything, all the stuff like that, and that, you believe whatever you want to believe, talk whatever you want to talk. But I just feel that we can't look past the fact that I think it's being, I guess, socially lazy. I think I'll use that term. I'm trying to create terms here. Like, it's lazy to say like it can't, and dismissive to say it don't have nothing to do with race. Because like I think a little bit of looking at the story of the main character, man, like, he had, like, I think it's safe to say, an affinity for white women, and he was on this.
I'm not saying that it doesn't have anything to do with race at all. But what I'm saying is that we don't have any information about what it has to do with for real. They don't really give too much. Nobody really, because it's one of those things where it was pulled and nobody knows why, and we can make our quick assumptions of why. But I don't think it's pulled for the long term. And from what it says in this one article, one random article, you can go off of whatever that's worth. That is based on the children. What I think is that it's political. Because this movie's an aspirational movie nonetheless. So like even without it coming out, it's one of those movies that is going to be inspiring to a community to to do better and do more. I mean, it's many movies that are like that in many forms. Like they inspire a generation type thing, and this type of movie has that potential to do that for a lot of people. But I mean, this isn't the only movie, and it's not like they stopped the other movies from being made. But
they pulled this, man, and they pulled this, and then wanted to put out the slavery movie. That's right. But go ahead.
What was the slave? What's the slave movie?
You know, Harriet Tubman. They supposed to be doing that.
Yeah. That's not Apple. That's not Apple. That has nothing to do with that.
I'm saying it's the day. I feel like Apple was part of the day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Part of the man.
you know what I mean? So you're like, all right, come on. Like,
I just got finished watching Undercover Brother. So it's the man and other Undercover Brother. I mean, he's basically anything that's associated with it. There's a larger potential meaning for it. I mean, I think it's still that. I still think it's that, but I think it's layers in. I mean, like, because I think that there may have been something in this version of the movie that they probably gonna cut. Because like now you notice like you don't really see director cuts too often anymore.
No, you don't see that no more.
I don't think we may see a director's cut of this movie because I'm feeling like there's something that may be in this movie currently that is like kind of controversial to the family as a company, because they probably still have their banks and they probably still have a lot of money that they invested in. To have some of this being put out there about how they made money, if it's based on a true story, that means that the feds are going to check this story. And they're going to start auditing these people. And like, that's the real. They're gonna be like, yo, we heard y'all made all this money off this white man signing these papers for y'all today. They're gonna start checking. They're gonna checking the facts. I mean, right here, more than anything, they telling on themselves, because it's one of those things like it's past, what do you call it? Past the limit of statutation.
I got you.
I mean, it's beyond the limits. I mean, like it's already past the point. Like I don't think that they can actually come back and do anything. But I mean, they come back for people all the time. Yeah, I mean, so like if there's money for things, if there's any money that's invested in these organizations that's still existing from them starting these banks that have some type of paper trail. I mean, that has some type of like issue that, I mean, technically, people got to get it how they get it. I mean, just similar to like Italians and Jewish people and all these other like first races that got into these countries and, capitalize off their gains. They got to sort of launder the money and say different ways of how they got it. Similar to like slaves and like people owning slaves. They used to have like money off of plantations and then they put it into like laundry or some shit. I mean, they changed their money and how they got it around, but the way that it originally came in was from some other means. I mean, they had to clean the money. I mean, and it might be something in here that it could be that they might have been like, yo, y'all talking too much. I mean, we got to cut this out because y'all talking too much about this. You got to change that story up a little bit.
I think so. It's two things. I feel like it's that, like, no doubt, like it's a great point. I think it's that. But on another note, I feel like,
and then they could like,
you said the word nigga too much. Yeah, that too many white women.
No. You know what? they love that. Yeah, I mean, they don't care about us saying that.
That's what you think. That's what they don't care about.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you want to talk about the day, you want to talk about the man today. I mean, they don't care. I mean, there's a show that I used to watch called Mr. Robot. It's this dude on there. Yo plays like he hood. He plays like he's a black dude, but he's not really even a black dude. I mean, like he got this. I guess they like put a little bit of makeup on. He kind of looked like he kind of Puerto Rican. I mean, the sandy color. in sandy color. So like, he get the pass for whatever. I mean, he could be Middle Eastern. Yeah, I mean, but it's no matter what, like the role that he gets to play is this character. And on that show, he says nigga on that show multiple times. Yeah, I mean, and it's like, wait, I had to look him up because I was like, yo, is he even black? I mean, is he just he don't look black to me. He look like black Middle Eastern, like maybe 12% black.
He's a Pacific Islander, man.
He don't look like American black that went through a complex, a social complex that got the opportunity to say nigga, they went through a societal complex. You know what I mean, like he look like the type of black that I'm just saying it because I'm cool. You know what I mean, he get to say it because they own it. Because they own it. Yeah, I mean, because they own it. I mean, so they don't have no problem with us saying that. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, even like I said, either that or Bernard Garrett is Andy, because Anthony Mackie is known for having sex with white women in movies. I mean, he probably had sex with a white woman in the movie in The Banker, and Bernard Garrett. Yeah, I mean, and the children of Bernard Garrett were like, you know what? No, you can't put that in there because he's supposed to be married to my mother at that time. So you can't be saying that he had this affair with such and such at the same time. I mean,
you start to take the bone, take the skeletons out the closet.
That's what I think. I think they exposed some things in that movie that it might have been too real. And it was like, yo, we gotta pull this back. And Apple was like, yeah, because we ain't getting sued for that. I mean, I mean, like we want to help. We don't mind it, but we don't want to get that deep.
We just became more valued more than energy, man. We can't risk that.
Like this is cool, but that's way too much controversy. I mean, like they don't want to have like Black Lives Matter flags. I mean, they just want to get the money off of Black Lives Matter. I mean,
but yeah, man, I think we hit that topic hard, man. Let's go. What we got next, man?
This next topic here, which is Apple partners with 100 cameras to teach Chicago students photography and with iPhones. Got a little thing going on. Excuse me, but yeah,
you good over there?
Yeah. So 100 cameras. I wanted to actually check them out and see who they were, but their organization. Let me see if it's a nonprofit organization. I'm assuming pushing the power of photography. And I'm looking at the website now. It empowers kids to process and tell their stories, ideally through photography. It looks like a pretty dope organization, and I'm assuming that they are partnering with a couple of schools in Chicago based on this story. One of the main things is that Apple is doing the funding and sponsorship, ideally by pushing out these iPhones, giving these iPhones to kids. And you know what? Go ahead. I'm mad at this because remember last week we were talking about the Chromebook article, right?
I knew you were going to take it.
We were talking about the Chromebook article and how like they were talking about how can't nobody learn anything on a Chromebook and how you need to have an iPhone technology, and how I was saying like what they're trying to phase out like their laptops in a way. I mean, they kind of phase these laptops out. They're trying to make it so people use phones and tablets because they're trying to make the laptop super expensive for Apple, and they're trying to make it so people use tablets and iPhones everywhere else. And now, because this dude leaned on people talking about how kids can't learn anything on nothing but an Apple device, now they having this partnership up here where they going to show and prove, look what kids can do with Apple devices by partnering up with 100 cameras and going to a school.
They can become visual storytellers.
Yeah, they doing marketing without doing marketing. They just like, yo, let's partner up with these organizations. This organization is already in the school doing something, and we can give them a couple iPhones and let them tell the story for us. I mean, and they can have an article saying, look how great we're doing with schools and what we're doing with. I mean, yeah, look, they're talking about dealing with charter schools and how they. Yeah, man, I'm not.
You talk basically. You see the bullshit. You see it. It's like all this about partnering. Then you go into one of the most like inner city Chicago. One of the most like dangerous places in America. We were great giving company to go in and do the most.
Go off, you just have your exec go off talking about how can't nobody learn on these products. I mean, these iPhone, these Chromecast, these Chromebooks aren't worth people's money to spend on it because you can't do nothing but take tests with it. I mean, that's the only thing you can do with it. It's completely dispelling like the Android. I mean, because if they showing off these iPhones here and people using iPhones, you can do that with Android. You can do that with Androids out there. I mean, Android and Chromebook, you basically good, but like he basically running around talking about how you can't do nothing with these devices, and what they had to do to make up for him saying that, because everybody was looking at him like it was stupid. Like, who was going to pay $2,200 for a laptop for an Apple device? I mean, he runs around and be like, all right, let's do this marketing ploy where we say, look, you don't even need a laptop. You can get so much done with an Apple device. And look what you can learn to do, and look with all this stuff you can tell your story. We're in education. We're doing way more than just
nonprofit organization. Yeah, I mean, they just putting more cake on top, more sweetness on top of sweetness, man. And some, and people want to eat it up too. Oh yeah, look at the Apple is such a, look at the legacy of Steve Jobs, man.
Hey, eating it up like honey, Like, I mean, it's one of those things that. And this is an Apple article too, so they leaning on themselves, they feeling themselves. They had to do this, they had to push it out there because he talked too much. He talked too much, he said too much, and they probably like put him on temporary leave for a couple of weeks. Just go home, you talk too much, we trying to do something here. Now we gotta go and make up for what you said by doing this thing that we wasn't even going to do. Now we gotta get rid of like 200 iPhones. Luckily, we the richest company in the world where it don't matter. We'll just give out these phones. But now we gotta do all this PR. We wasn't trying to do all this PR. Now we gotta do this.
Two remarks from a severance pay, man.
Yeah, just shut up. No more mic talk for the next 3 months. I mean, like, just do your job.
He's been blacklisted.
Yeah, he's probably blacklisted. Probably no more Apple events for him for the rest of the year.
I mean, this is a whole bunch of cappery, man. But whatever. This is, I was feeling when they talking about they gave the joint away for free. See, I paid a little grip for my iPhone XS Max.
Yeah.
I mean, so you talking about giving this away? Like, come on, fam. Like, what you don't know what you're saying when you do this is that you pimping people because you can get this stuff away for free.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean that's a second thing right there. Like, and because they're crossing their message and that's how you sort of know that this is because of what he said. Because he said what he said, they have to make up for it by showing that they are in schools and that kids are using them for educational purposes. I mean, they have to push this message out to say like, oh, whatever he said, like, believe it because they're doing it. They're not doing this on Chromebooks. They're doing this on Apple devices. I mean, completely dismissing the Android. And like, what are you going to do? You want to give out all these iPhones to all these people? You about to give out iPhones to every school in America? No, they doing it to this one school, to this one test, just so they can show for PR purposes that they doing it.
You're gonna drop ads to this article and to this pictures and be like, see, they make you more inflated, make it seem like it's bigger than what it is.
They put it on Apple. They put it on Apple website in the newsroom. That means that all they gotta do is open up the news app, and it's right on their iPhone news app. Hey, see, and this is a scenario of them controlling the media. See, they are the media delivery system. They are the newspaper in a lot of cases, and they wrote their own article that they know is going to be fed to everybody that got a iPhone, and boom. Everything that they said in that last article and all the other resources, don't ignore that because we don't kids. I mean, don't even read that other article.
The person who wrote that, we fired him.
Don't ask too many questions about the other schools. Don't worry about that. Just worry about this one. I mean, they have their market though, because people going to still buy them. People going to buy them by the hundreds and by the thousands. I mean, so they just had to put a message to combat what this dude said.
What the silliness is going on?
Yeah, I mean,
all of the inflating, all of the braggadocious articles come out. They're worth more than all the energy in America. Now, what was it, something like that last week?
Oh yeah,
they value more than all the energy than
all the U.S. energy sector. Yeah, I mean, all the energy resources in America whether it's wind, solar, electric, nuclear, gas, natural gas, oil. I mean, they're more they are more valuable than all of them. I think it was like 1.17 compared to their 1.13, and that's in America. I mean, versus Apple being a global company. I mean, so I mean it's a money difference because they able to sell more and they able to sell at a premium because all those iPhones they roughly worth about $200 in material, but they sell them for $1,000. So like they make a hell of profit, but like all that can get tumbled down by a bad news article. I mean, like, and they gotta do damage control. That's what that article is. Damage control.
There you go.
I mean, let's go to this last article. Apple prepares to build the next generation of media apps for iPhones. And for Windows, I'm sorry, the next generation media apps for Windows, and Apple is looking for UWP developers. This article is basically just talking about how now I really think it's just about how now that Apple is becoming a services technology as well as like they for the most part Apple is a hardware technology. They create devices that are create cell phones and create laptops and create desktops. Then they create that Apple TV box thing. But now because the future is going to the cloud no matter what, and in order for them to be able to get more money, they need to be able to sort of expose themselves to more platforms. They are now having to build out.
They're now having to holler at the girl down the street. They in bed with Microsoft Windows now. Although they was talking that craziness about how they the best.
Yeah, I mean, and it started. I mean, it started off a while back when they first released the iPod. I mean, when they first released the iPod, they had so many people had the iPod that didn't have an Apple Apple MacBook or anything like that, an Apple iMac or anything like that. That they had to create iTunes for Windows. I mean, once they created iTunes for Windows, it was like, all right, now everybody can upload their stuff, and then beyond that, it wasn't no other reason for Apple to create any software for Windows because it was like. All we need is for y'all to buy music. Y'all need to buy music and y'all need to buy movies. I mean, the iPhone, even with the iPhone, like they still using iTunes. It's still the same app. And the only reason for that app really is to be able to get stuff to another device. Now we have the internet now that like, you can just download stuff to the device and all that. You don't necessarily need to do that transfer period where you hook up the phone.
I remember that, man. That was a dreadful process.
Yeah, it was the worst. Like no matter what you did, you had to hook up to it. I mean, that now that era is over, iTunes has sort of died out as a resource. Like not many people really even pay attention to iTunes as much because you have iTunes on your phone. And all those things you can just get off of your phone. But because they have those services that I was talking about, people have iCloud, you store your pictures and a couple of documents up in the cloud, but not many people really want to pay for iCloud. They only give you about 5 gigs for free.
Yeah, that's garbage, man.
yeah. But like nowadays, like I feel like they may start changing that in the near future, but what they want to do, they do profit first thing. So
man, people forgetting about that fiasco that happened with the iCloud when all these celebrities' accounts got hacked and they had all these news that leaked. I was like, oh snap!
Yeah.
I can't drop some names of my favorite ones, but
I want to say the Jennifer Lawrence shorty. I don't even really know like that, but I remember the news article like shorty from the
Hunger Games. That's one of my favorite series. I ain't gonna lie. She is.
I never really watched the Hunger Games. I was in the hospital.
Oh my goodness!
I was in the hospital sick. And they did a marathon. They was doing a marathon and it was on the TV. I was like, oh, this isn't bad. It's not that bad. It's actually kind of good.
It's all right, man. She saved Peter.
I don't know if I can. After the first 2 hours, I'm still stuck in the hospital. I was like, yeah, you know what? I think I can.
Might as well.
I mean,
I ain't gonna change the channel, man.
It was a marathon. It was a night marathon. I was in there for 3 days. Next night, I was like, oh, what's coming on next? I guess it's Hunger Games.
Didn't Jill Scott joints come out on there too?
On
Oh
what?
man. Oh, with the iCloud fiasco when they got hacked.
Oh no! I think was that iTunes? Was that off of
No,
iCloud?
I think it was, I think it was the iCloud joint.
Mm,
Oh
mm,
man,
mm.
that
I
was yeah.
might need to go. Yeah.
Jill put big girls on the map, fam.
Uh,
Back in the day in the 90s, it was like,
shit.
everybody was 110
Today.
pounds. But
Yeah.
now, like, man, y'all thank Jill Scott for that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
off topic.
Yeah. Jill got them ways, man. Jill got them ways. I don't know. I ain't even but yeah, like now that they got television, they got music, they got podcasts, they got news articles and books. I mean, those are all media, all the different forms of media, and you got to be able to push those media to the people that have these devices, whatever device they have. I mean, so they have to make these applications because I mean, they could make them through web apps. I mean, but they don't necessarily want to do the web apps because one of the things about web applications is the dominant player for web right now is Google. And in most cases, if you're going to create a web app, you probably want to make a web app for the Chrome and
for the Chrome, yeah, and for Safari.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if Safari was actually good, they would have been making web apps for Safari. I mean, like, so like the only other option is to create these actual applications, which allow them to have like more security over how people use them, and they just open up an app because application programming on that level is more secure to the actual OS and whatnot. It'll allow them to be able to create these, apps so that people can use their software without having to worry about what app they're on. Because ultimately, they're just trying to get more money, and they realize
that's what I was actually about to say. I think at the end, like really, when they doing all of this stuff, man, it's just a form of branding. Like if they go to other people's platforms and then have their brand show up there, it gives them more, basically, like almost creating what they call digital real estate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, where it's plentiful. Exactly. You don't have a limit to it as long as you can create like a platform, or you can go to a platform that's already created and put your information there. You have people who buy into it.
And Microsoft does the same thing, vice versa. But they're a little bit better at it. Like they make Windows, they make Microsoft Office for Mac. They make Office for Android. They make Office for the web. Like Microsoft is a little bit better. When it comes to, they have their own platform and they know that their stuff can work better on it. But if it comes to them being able to make more money, they will cross Windows and go over to Mac OS, go over to Android, go over. I don't even think they gone to Linux yet. I mean, they got Linux. Microsoft has been adopting Linux a lot of ways, but yeah. I mean, like, but they'll go however they need to. And Apple is the company that just doesn't tend to do that because Apple is Apple, and everybody knows that Apple is the sweater vest company. Yeah, I mean, so they just got their own way. They hold their books with a belt. Yeah, I mean, wrapped up in a belt. I mean,
satchels.
I mean, you know who they are. So like they got their own way. But to see them actually opening up like this means that they understand what's happening in the market and that they can't just solely rely on making the best hardware. They got to make the best experience. I mean, no matter where you're at. And that's what this play is really about. Just making sure that they know Windows is a dominant player and they got to have their stuff on Windows. I mean, they even have Apple Music on Android. So like if you are an Apple Music subscriber, you can get the Apple.
I feel like that's corny anyway, because I mean, when I had an Android and all that stuff like that, I didn't have to worry about. See, what I liked about that, I mean, going a little into the tech, my tech place, I'm able to download stuff and put it in folders that I want, whereas though, it is with Apple, everything locked down, so it's not really, that alluring to me. I've never downloaded Apple Music and put it on my Android device, and if I have an Android device in the future, I never will.
Yeah. I mean, and Apple's kind of a unique company. I don't want to call them cruddy company. Even though that's the word I want to use. They cruddy.
Man, they wear cardigan sweaters and corduroys, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they are the type of company that like you can install a payment system on your app if you have it on iOS without giving Apple 30% type thing. I mean, so like Amazon, you can't add your Apple, you can't add your card or use Apple Pay with the Amazon app or with Netflix, because if you do, if I mean, they actually like Netflix and Amazon took those functionalities out because Apple required it. I mean, like if you have a payment system on here where you upload a card, it has to go through Apple Pay and you have to give Apple 30%.
30%. That's crazy.
You know what I mean, so like they just pulled it out and said, all right, well, you just gotta
all right, bump that.
Go to the website, put your card in there, and then get the app. And we have your card. We got your card already. We'll just bypass Apple for that. You just press the button. You ain't gotta tell us because you went to the website and you put your card over there. I mean, so like they found workarounds. Same thing with, I think Spotify is actually suing Apple because of that. There's a current lawsuit that's about to happen because of that Apple Pay. Like, how are you gonna charge us 30%? Because it's an even larger issue. Like Apple has Apple Music and they make money off of Apple Music, but then they also are an open platform for Spotify. Spotify's business is streaming music, but you're charging Spotify users their 30% off of every subscription. I mean, like, well, how? So you trying to eat us at both ways. You trying to beat us in the market, and you trying to chop us by 30%. I mean, so like they suing them right now because of that same nonsense. But Apple wants to do their services, and nobody interferes with what Apple says, because Apple's, I'm not gonna say no cruddy stuff. I ain't gonna say nothing dirty about it.
they try and give it to you both ways, man.
Yeah, they definitely is trying to. They try no raw, no cut, no condom.
Yeah, raw. Put it in and put the thumb in the other one, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
Yeah. All right, man.
That's basically a wrap up on this. If y'all like this episode, go ahead and do the three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the feeds. We're on all the resources: the Facebook, the YouTube, the iTunes, the Google Plays, Spotify, Stitches, and all of that stuff. Just Google us, you'll find us. Next episode, try to figure out why the hell Apple is the way they are, man, because they got to stop tripping.
Steve Jobs turning in his grave. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. We can
make sure you give us comments, man, because we like to get more of that feedback from y'all. We like to know what you guys like to know about. Anything y'all want us to talk about. If you find anything interesting, just let us know. Hit us up. We will talk about it. We'll make sure that we try to stick it in there somewhere. No pun.
Can't get away.
Y'all have a good one out there, man.
All right, y'all. Peace.